Hey guys, Desolate Magic here, and it's finally here. The banned and restricted announcement that was promised for today. I guess Wizards isn't even on like West Coast time anymore, Pacific time or whatever. They're on who gives a crap time because this just came out. So Mr. Gavin Verhey himself, one of the people who has their head screwed on straight at Wizards, is writing this ban announcement. So we always knew that this was going to be Pauper only, or at least heavily involving Pauper. I guess I didn't say only. According to the pre-release, the ban announcement pre-release. That's an event now that they announced on Twitter. Hey, this is the last thing people have to universally get excited about, is them attempting to vaguely fix something so that we have something to play. And they knocked it out of the park with this one. Now, I don't know Pauper that much. I don't follow it like the meta, but I have a general sense for what's played there and what's liked and what's not, and this is a very positive direction. So they're banning Atog, Bonder's Ornament, and Prophetic Prism. And that'll be effective tomorrow on Magic Online. Yikes. Then I love how after just what's banned, they start it with, in italics, explanation of bans provided by Gavin Verhey. What, because Wizards isn't standing by it, or you guys were split on this or something? He's not even on the ban committee, I thought. What the hell? If he was on the ban committee, the game would actually be in a good shape. So he says, last week I announced the Pauper format panel, or PFP for short. Oh, they're going to explain what that was, because they mentioned that in the tweet, and I'm like, what the hell is that? I only know of one like panel or committee, and it's the commander one, so okay. So he says, it's a new group of community members, prolific in the Pauper format, there you go, who will be providing recommendations of format changes to help expedite the level of change. Let me just read between the lines here. Wizards has proven over the last 26 years that they are so astonishingly, unbelievably bad at managing every format and doing any ban announcement in a timely fashion that we're just going to ask the community what they want. What a fucking concept. Now, I remember that was their thinking, that was their general strategy, along the same lines, for hiring former pro players to be in play design and testing, which how'd that go? So I don't know who these prolific Pauper panel people are, but I like saying it, and two, look, if they had anything to do with this, first of all, that would be a little early, but I don't know, I didn't watch his announcement. But okay, going with that, holy crap, do these people know what to get rid of out of this format? Because it should have been obvious, and I always say it's very obvious to the community what's good and what's bad, because within one day of a spoiler for something, everybody's like, well, this interacts with this in a bad way, or this alternate win con's going to be a disease. And the community is always right. I don't think the community as a whole has ever been wrong about a card, ever. Wizards, have they ever been wrong about a card? Huh. Let me cite my source on that to answer it. The ban list for the last 4 years. I do believe it's bigger than all cards banned in all formats before the last 4 years. That is a lot of mistakes. And they keep making the same mistakes with the same archetype of cards. So, I mean, you obviously know what I'm leading into here. Bye-bye, Affinity. Okay, people hated Affinity in Modern. It was the number one most hated deck. Maybe Infect was pretty bad. Storm was pretty shit, too. But I don't think back in the day, like we're talking 6, 7, 8 years ago, that I heard people complain about a deck more in Modern than Affinity, Artifact Affinity. And so now it looks like they're gutting some top artifacts, and I'm being told this was specifically targeting Affinity decks. So why they thought it would be acceptable in Pauper, I have no idea. Why didn't they take action against it quicker? I have no idea. They know what people hate. They hate non-interactive crap, and they hate stuff that's just unfair and gimmicky and doesn't feel like Magic. And then they refuse to ban any of that. Oh, looks like I could have just kept reading, because he says, all 7 of us unanimously agreed on this round of bans. So I guess it was the prolific Pauper format panel people. Or PFFP, whatever I just said. The Gavin groupies. Boom. Easier to remember. Less fun to say, but easier to remember. No, wait. Takesies backsies. I'm going with Pauper people. So he says, in full, I'm proud to share that the group has had a lot of great discussions, insights, and analyses since it was formed just a short bit ago. I am still wondering in that period of time. Anyway, it would take people a day to figure out that this crap should have been gone. So yeah, okay. Yeah, short time, sure. Last week we reached our recommendation after some additional vetting. We now feel confident in enacting it, and all 7 of us, Pauper people, have unanimously agreed on this round of bans. If you would like to see me break this down in a video, no. You can check it out here. No. So for ATOG, they explain it. Ooh, this is quite the explanation. The first and clearest thing to us is that something from Affinity needed to go. Really. There are two primary reasons. One, everybody universally hates it except for the douchebags who play it. Oh, sorry, I misread that. What he actually said is its popularity and impact were both extremely high. You can see how I might have misread that a little bit, just kind of swapped out some words mentally. To help quantify this, oh God, we took a look at the play numbers on Magic Online, where it's the most popular deck, over twice as popular as the next most played deck. That should have been a red flag no matter what, if people liked the deck or hated it. I mean, if it's the most beloved deck in the format and people just love to play it because it's fun, I would take that into account, but double the next one under it? At that point, I wouldn't even care how much people like it or hate it. Okay, if the win rate was 50.1%, I might let it slide. Other than that, at 2-1, bitch, gotta go. That's just like, I'm sick of playing against this stupid deck, or I'm sick of the mirror match. Like, at that density, it doesn't matter what the deck is. The fact that it got that bad and they're just looking at the numbers for evidence to support what they already know, instead of looking at the numbers and coming to the conclusion from the numbers, that explains why this is so mismanaged. So while it is surprisingly not the dominant one in overall win rate, that is in part because it's metagame warping. So people purposely play around it, like Dust to Dust. I mean, that just nukes it. That's a card that has become a 4 of sideboard option, but was also reaching main decks. That's another red flag. When people have to main deck a perfect cure anti-card for something else that's taken over too much of the format. I want to build my deck the way I want to build it, and if I got to resort to, beating their ass in game 2 and game 3 with the sideboard, okay, it is what it is. I shouldn't have to go that far. When I have to main board an anti-threat, that threat has become too prominent, okay? And I do occasionally, when something's brand new, agree with Wizards' general strategy of let's just wait and let the dust settle and see if people adapt to it. But a lot of the times the community is screaming, we shouldn't have to adapt to this. Nobody's going to, and the only way to adapt to it is to main board a stopper card. Like, when it's that obvious, I would ban something a week or two after it comes out in standard. Now, this is Pauper. These are eternal cards. There is no excuse. None. To say that this blindsided them and they didn't see it coming, it's been this shit for years from what I heard. Come on. So they say cards like Annul, Ancient Grudge, Steel Sabotage, Shenanigans, Gorilla Shaman, Revoke Existence, and so on were filling up sideboards. Its impact on the format was tremendous and unhealthy. Period. End of paragraph. Yes, amen. Preach it. They finally get it. Holy shit. They got the smartest employee at Wizards making the smartest group of people who actually play the format, and they came up with a smart decision. Holy shit, invite me to the standard ban committee. What do they call this stupid thing again? Oh, the panel, the standard format panel. Hey, make that and then just invite just me. I'll fix that shit up quicker than 7 people, okay? We don't need the circle of elders to all jump on Skype and say the magic words in their hoods. I assume that's how the meeting went. I will fix that shit up so quick. Oh my God. Oh, anyway, spoiler alert, they didn't ban anything in any other format, so hooray. So number two for the reasons it needed to go was the play pattern of the deck can be very non-interactive and frustrating, killing in ways that happen quickly and can't be blocked. Wait a minute, did he just repeat the thing I've been saying the entire year and the entire last year? People don't like stuff that happens too quick, that you have not enough phases or time or turns to react to. And that goes triple, if not infinitely more, in lower powered formats like Pauper and Standard. React to this during my turn or you lose. I hate that bullshit. That strategy, that overall just idea is almost as bad as I'm going to win with one of these 4 of cards and my entire rest of my deck is board wipes, control, and getting that card out and protecting it. The all-in win con shutdown prison bullshit decks that are 100% win con or control cards, that needs to be stopped. And now it's gotten so bad that the entire deck, the deck portion of the deck, non-land cards are control, the whole thing, and then the win con is the man lands. That's why they need to stop printing man lands permanently. Just stop with that shit. That deck is cancer, and I've seen 4 different versions of it. It's the same shit as the first time we saw Ugin and then when they reprinted Ugin recently. It's, I'm going to win with 1 card. The whole rest of my deck is controlling getting out that 1 card. Kind of annoying. I came here to play my deck, not to wait for you to get your win con and then cancel every spell. Okay, that. The fact that these geniuses are just catching up to this now is sickening and saddening for a format I don't even play. I'm just that embarrassed that these people are that incompetent. But then it's almost like worse that they got together community members and Gavin, and then they came up with this in like a week. Oh, look, we did Wizard's job for them and did it flawlessly in this short a time. Wow. So back to ATOG. He says, we know that ATOG is a beloved card. Yeah, no, Mark named his blog after it because Mark likes it. If Mark likes it, that should be grounds for a ban already. And something people have enjoyed since its first appearance in Antiquities. I guess if you can't read that god-awful text or you're just watching or listening to the video, it's a 2-drop red creature, and you pay 0 and sack an artifact. Unlimited number of times instant speed, and it gets +2/+2. So you just sack a whole stack and hit him for 20 all at once, pretty much. And they have less than 1 phase to respond to that, or they lose. Non-interactive gimmicky glass cannon crap. It's just absolute garbage. That piece of trash should be banned from all formats. It's not even banned from Modern. I don't know what they're thinking. Then see, they go off the rails. He says, there are a lot of people who like that Pauper is a chance to play with this card. It's currently legal in Modern Legacy, Vintage, Commander, and Pauper. So go somewhere else with your overpowered broken shit. This is Pauper. To even consider that, not even just consider it, he says, there are people that enjoyed the opportunity to play this, so we investigated several other options. Come on, just pull the trigger on the one you know is the problem. What good did it do when they banned Emrakul instead of Aetherworks Marvel? Okay, they just had to turn around and ban Aetherworks Marvel. You don't dance around the problem, you address it. That card will never be okay. It's like literally synergy with any other artifact. What are you going to ban? 1/3 of the artifacts in the game and then, oh, now it's good, now it's tame, now we calmed it down. He does say that they talked about Disciple of the Vault and a couple others, Wedding Invitation, something about Fling too, I guess is how you win with this. Oh God, I hate Fling, don't even bring it up. Then he said they talked about banning the Modern Horizon 2 bridges, which I believe are the artifact lands, where everybody's like, the most problematic card ever, almost, in the history of the game? Really? Artifact lands, how'd that go the last time? How many formats are they banned in? Who thought that was good? He says they wanted to ban the bridges. This would put the deck back to where it was before MH2. Yeah, MH2 was a mistake. It was kind of a disaster. However, that had some challenges. I'm just going to read, because he goes on, what they were considering banning instead. Cleansing Wildfire. That's too synergistic. Deadly Dispute. Carapace Forager. Disciple of the Vault. Makeshift Munitions. Sojourner's Companion. And then they decided that was a waste of everyone's time, including mine, to even read about, and banned the actual problem, which is ATOG. So then they talk about Bonder's Ornament and Prophetic Prism. So if you're not familiar... Well, first of all, Kinnan, the Bonder asshole, the triple-chinned SJW mascot douche, is currently completely ruining Historic Brawl and Standard Brawl. Oh wait, he cycled out of Standard. Okay, Historic Brawl. And now we've got another Bonder card. Oh, what a coincidence. And this is an Ikoria Commander common. So Bonder's Ornament, 3-cost artifact, and you can tap it and add 1 mana of any color. If you pay 4 and tap it, each player who controls a permanent named Bonder's Ornament draws a card. I thought it's 3 to come out and it's a garbage mana rock, and then you pay 4 to activate it. It's like an emergency thing. I didn't think it was that big of a deal, but, well, I don't play Pauper. And Prophetic Prism was originally from Rise of the Eldrazi. You probably remember it a lot better from Kaladesh, though. Really good looking artwork, by the way. So this is a 2-drop artifact, and when it enters battlefield, draw a card, so that's already... little wording, and then pay 1, tap it, add 1 mana of any color to mana pool. So it's a feed in, feed out, 1-to-1 filter, doesn't ramp anything. It's just a dummy drop for 2, which is just an affinity enabler. Everybody knew this. So yeah, of course that's gone. They banned it on top of ATOG. So like they really, really want affinity gone, which is funny because one of the paragraphs I skipped talks about how, well, maybe people will still play affinity in this way with ATOG gone. We hope so. And then they go on immediately to say, and also we banned 2 more cards from Affinity. No, you want a grand total of nobody to run Affinity because Affinity. Everybody hates it except for the people who play it. And some of the people who play it hate it. They just want free wins. It's an easy, brainless, thoughtless win. It is so... a chimpanzee could be taught to run those garbage decks. It's so chimp simple. I hate decks like that. They're gimmicky, repetitive, boring crap. People just used it to mine free wins and get free crap on MTGO. That's why it was double the popularity of the one under it. Also, its power level's out of control. So anyway, with the ATOG ban locked in, we looked for what other deck might emerge and be a new problem. I love how they start with that. It's like, and then we landed right back on Affinity. Oh, what was the Atog deck in a equipment deck? Come on, okay? You killed Affinity. Just admit it and leave it at that. None of this, maybe it's still playable. Wink, wink, we hope not, but we're saying differently. Dead and buried, throw a party, flip off the Affinity players, and move on with your life. Come on, Gavin, grow a spine. Oh, this I didn't know. They said that apparently they agreed that they needed to, quote, hit something from the Urzatron deck, which I'm not too familiar with that. I know I've heard the name and I know I've seen how it works in the past. It's just not coming to mind. But he says, the reasons are many. There's 5 bullet points. Oh my God. I remember Urza was a mistake for Pauper. I just remember people saying that, and then I saw a deck list, and I'm like, holy crap. And then I just kind of, I don't know, blocked it out or something. Hopefully this will jog my memory, because I legitimately don't remember how it works. The data bears out that Tron is extremely powerful. Its win rate on Magic Online Leagues is among the highest, even higher than Affinity. Oh, damn. Though there was less hate being played against Tron. But there was more hate in the community. I guarantee you that. And when you look at its matchup win percentages after sideboarding, it had a positive win rate against almost every other deck. Number 2, Affinity was advantaged against Tron in game 1, while Tron did move to an advantage matchup post sideboard. It involved bringing in a lot of cards, with Affinity substantially weakened. It still, if I remember, it functioned kind of like Affinity. It used a ton of, well, ETB draw effects, obviously, but also artifacts. I mean, it just did. I mean, look what they banned. So I think they were like, Tron, I guess, but we could also take a second swing, an even harder swing at Affinity. Take out like the top 2 decks-ish, depending upon how you measure it, differently for each, but still, and let people play stuff that isn't this crap, basically. If you're going to do that, and that's why you're going to do it, don't lie to us. Just do it. I mean, come on. Shift all the blame to this new committee so people can grumble and whine about how they just lost their deck to those people, and then keep them anonymous, and then move on, because then you got a scapegoat outside of Wizards, because we all know these people's egos are so fragile and they can never admit what they did wrong. Yeah, they ain't going to just come out and say we banned it because it's the right thing to do. No. I think they are silently kind of shifting the blame and scapegoating the new Pauper panel. They knew damn well what was wrong. So anyway, they say if we're going to ban Affinity, we might as well get rid of Tron as well, because it would have been the most dominant deck in the format. Pre-Modern Horizons 2, the last time many players would say that we had a stable Pauper format. Oh, throwing shade hard. Tron was the most dominant deck. There you go. So the artifact lands drove Affinity crazy, so they got rid of the real problem with Affinity, which is Atog. Left the lands, came back around for a double backhanded slap, and totally didn't just nerf Affinity harder with these 2 artifacts gone. And then also got rid of Tron. There you go. So bullet point number 4, Tron pushes out a lot of mid-range and control decks because it's very hard to compete with the mana and the card advantage that the deck creates. Yes. And number 5, oh my gosh, they said it. Holy shit, wait till you hear this one. Green smashing, monitor punching alert. You have been warned. We banned Expedition Map last year to try to make an impact, but that ban ended up doing very little. Do I even need to add anything to that? They tried to fix it, they banned the wrong card, it did nothing, and they fixed nothing, and then they poured gasoline on the fire with MH2. There you go, there's your narrative. They are throwing the rest of Wizards under the bus hard, and they deserve it. The fact that he would just come out and say, we banned Expedition Map to stop this one deck in Pauper, and it did little to nothing. Just, there you go. Anybody else involved in that decision, throwing shade right in their face. And they deserve that and more. They deserve to be fired. These are the people who keep making such idiotic mistakes, thinking that that'll weaken the deck enough. They are wrong. And when he says last year, I'm not even sure he didn't accidentally mean 2020. If it was in 2021, it was pretty early on. I think it's been months and months and months. A good fraction of a year since they tried to fix Pauper. It didn't work, and it took them this long into 2022 to actually fix the problem. I mean, we can't have 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 years of a deck archetype breaking a format or people hating something, and then you finally do something about it. That is unacceptable, okay? The whole, we banned Expedition Map and it did very little. Followed by what apology? Where's the apology, Wizards? Where's the why did this take so long? Where's the explanation? Where's the we're not going to take this long in the future? Where's the assurance that anything's going to be fixed? Where's the here's where we went wrong and here's where we're fixing it? We were reading the wrong statistics, but we're not going to follow those statistics anymore. Where's anything after that sentence making us think that you won't continue to do the same shit? Because if it's there, I'm not seeing it. I'm missing it. You better edit it in. I'll look for the revised article tomorrow. That's your homework. Add in what the you're going to do to stop bannings of Expedition Map that didn't do shit, followed by months of silence, what you're going to do about that, because I want to hear it. We have never heard, I actually once, but then they didn't follow up on it and continued to keep making the same mistakes. Okay, once that I remember, but otherwise never, heard Wizards say, here's procedurally what went wrong with these former mismanagement decisions of these formats. Here's what we're going to do different. They addressed it once and then they lied. Otherwise, it's exactly what we looked at. We tried this, it didn't work, period. Well, moving on. Who did you hire? Who did you fire? What did you learn? Who is accountable? Anything. Give us literally anything to make us think that this won't keep happening. Well, if you're like, hey, Des, you literally read the answer, I'm circling back. Okay. They said, last week I announced the Pauper Format Panel, or PFP for short. It's a new group of community members prolific in the Pauper format who will be providing recommendations for format changes to help expedite the level of change. There it is. Okay, I'm sure at this point I am extremely confident that I am correct in my assumption that anybody who works for Wizards is not allowed to publicly say anything bad about the company at all. So he can't say that was a mistake. Oh, we're going to do better. We're going a different direction because that was bad. He's just allowed to at the beginning say expedite the level of change in this format, and then later say we banned Expedition Map last year and it didn't make an impact and did very little. You take those two statements together and you form an idea, but I guess he's just dancing around it and not directly saying it. But if I know Gavin, he just made a video a while ago about the top 10 biggest mistakes in MTG design. This motherfucker gets it, okay? This guy's savage. I told you, Gavin's one of the few people who has his head screwed on straight, although holy shit did he forget 3 things in that top 10 list. So he's not all there, but he's miles ahead of anybody else in play designer testing. He just, every time he comes out and speaks, he seems to actually have a good read on what he's talking about. So with him and this committee in charge of bans and expedited change in the next couple months, I might start to play Pauper. Obviously not an MTGO, but, hey. Oh, wait. I'm going to have to censor that, is coming out very, very, very shortly. Let's just say I already have the link for the Kickstarter. And that's just going to take Magic and just kick it right in the balls because everybody's going to move to it. It is a better TCG. Well, you got about a year tops to fix your shit, Wizards, before this takes over as the dominant card game. So I'm not just saying that because they're sponsoring my channel in the near future. And I looked at it and I'm like, my God, I'd be shouting this out and changing the name of my channel just looking at it, whether you're paying me or not. I cannot understate how much this is going to crush Magic. It's more targeted at crushing 40K, but at the end of the day, it's still a card game. Anyway, they go on to say we investigated several possible bans here to moderate the deck, but not remove it entirely. Not just remove it entirely. While it is possible at some point that we could entirely ban the deck by the way of removing the Urzatron lands, nobody wants them in any format, okay? Is that news? We would much rather find ways to reduce its power before going to such an extreme step. I mean, I get it when so many people, it might even be upwards of 100,000 to 1 million people playing some version of Tron in some format on MTGO. They don't want to pull the rug and just be like, no more Tron for you, but everybody not playing it wants them to do just that. So it's like, you'll make a ton of people really happy, but you'll just gut people's decks with little to no compensation, from what I heard. I mean, they don't compensate you for shit on MTGO, do they? If they ban it, then it's just kind of on the honor system. You probably shouldn't have been playing it. You knew how broken it was. You know how much people hate it, but people want free, easy, dumb, brainless wins. They know that people hate Tron. It's just they've got years of examples of them not banning it, that if they did ban it, they'd be like, my deck, you just cost me, $200 in lost revenue. I'm quitting forever. So they don't want every ban announcement to lose the money. Otherwise, why would they just not touch it? Why won't they just not touch any format at all if every ban announcement's going to lose the money? So they do try to take a deck that's out of control and just take it down a peg. Just take it down a little bit, couple percent. So instead of a 58% win level, it's 52. So then people can still play it. They're going to grumble, be like, you ruined the deck, I got to rebuild it. No, just play it with a more realistic win rate, you entitled. No more free wins for you. Oh, boo-hoo, Mr. Net Decking Addict. Maybe think for yourself and come up with something creative. It's Pauper, for God's sake. If there was a deck building semi-casual, semi-competitive, dirt cheap format where you could build 10 decks for the cost of one modern deck, it would be Pauper. Come on. Come up with something yourself. You want to play net decked, never moving, deck archetype shit, go play Modern. Hell, Legacy and Vintage. Actually, Modern has been moving in the last 3 years. They pushed out Affinity without having to ban anything. Nobody plays that crap anymore. Same with Storm. That's actually impressive, but it's just because of the power creep in Standard. So I'm not going to be like, oh, WotC was geniuses. They fixed the problem without a ban. No, they accidentally fixed one problem by creating another one. But yeah, Legacy and Vintage, hey, there you go. Go play that. Leave Pauper alone. We don't want Tron and Pauper. Nobody ever did. Or Affinity, or Mill, or Hyper Control. Nobody wants any of these stupid dumb cliches. Nobody wants any of this crap. If somebody found a way to build Lantern Control in Pauper, there might actually be a couple murders over it. People defend Pauper because it's so close to being a low-powered, fun, casual format where there's like 100 viable decks, but there's a couple standout ones ruining it, and it's the same dumb shit that was ruining Modern and ruining Commander and probably ruining Vintage and Legacy at one point, okay? And they haven't learned. They haven't learned shit. It took them this long to be like, maybe people don't like Tron and Affinity. Well, people don't like Elf Ball either. Like, get rid of that too. Like, what they should do is just have a format where they're like, we're going to create this brand new format, like Alchemy or something, and our new philosophy is fun. Fun is the priority. If people just, whether the win rate is 45% or, 60%, if it's an obnoxious deck that people hate playing against, we're going to get rid of it. And then, I don't know, compensate people 2-1 to make the band people shut up and stop whining. They could build like 2 full decks. There you go. Give them enough wild cards, On Arena, obviously, because the format's on Arena. Why can't they just do that? Instead of Alchemy, they could have just called it Fun Standard. And then, you know what? To distinguish it, rename the old one Shit Standard. People would immediately, by the name, know what you're talking about. Oh, the out-of-control power creep one where you let 9 sets be legal at a time. Oh, that one. No, I don't want to play Shit Standard. I want to play Fun Standard, where fun is the priority and enjoyability of the game. And affordable decks. Huh. Well, that's pretty much what they were going with Pauper. People are like, well, it can't get too out of control on the power level and with the cost if we just stick to commons, right? Well, it turns out no is the answer to that. Wizards will come in and just shit all over everything with Modern Horizons 2, among others. Here, have Tron and some artifact lands. Enjoy. What do you mean you don't like Affinity? We've never heard of the concept of people not liking Affinity. What? You're referencing day one that Modern came out? Oh, yeah. People have hated Affinity ever since then. You're right. Oh, we made the same mistake twice again. Like, how stupid are these people? Maybe we shouldn't have let it into Pauper for the last couple of years and then encouraged it and then built on top of it. Why don't you Wizards just off when it comes to the side formats and stop trying to treat them like your piggy bank where you do the same shit you've been doing in Commander where every year you move the goalpost and move the power level up so that, now you can run 2 as a partner. Woo! Stop micromanaging, stop selling directly to them, and just let them naturally just be what they want to be, okay? Stop trying to, now you need to get to this bar. Now we moved the finish line again. Now we moved it again. We moved it again. Bar's higher. Want to keep up, you better keep buying cards from us. Look, I get it. It's a business decision. Okay, Modern, Commander, okay, Standard, maybe, although, eventually you just get to Yu-Gi-Oh! Win on turn 2, so how'd that go for them? But, Pauper? Really? You're going to inject cards in that and ruin it? Is nothing sacred, Wizards. That's why the community is pissed, okay? That's not even as of today. That's as of, last year. See, I mean, what else is there to say? He said... Oh God, one card we looked at was Moment's Peace because the deck uses it to time walk the aggressive decks until it can stabilize. Yeah, get rid of turns shit. What else? I'm just gonna look at the underlines. I'm sick of reading this. This is like another 60 pages of justifying this. Tangle, Respite, Stonehorn Dignitary, Forbidden Alchemy, Compulsive Research, Mystical Teachings, Crop Rotation, Mnemonic Wall, Ghostly Flicker, Ephemerate. Yes, get rid of that. Wait, isn't that already banned? Displace. Wait, Mystical Teachings. Didn't they already say that? Then they settled on Bonder's Ornament and Prophetic Prism. Okay. Muldrifter, Impulse. They looked at those 2, I guess. I'm not even reading the sentences at this point. I'm just looking for underlying cards. My God. Prismatic Lens, Chromatic Star. Oh, I don't think they were considering that for a ban. If it's legal, they were. Otherwise, they're saying it's similar. I don't know. Ghostly Flicker, Spare Supplies, Mana Silex, Mana Lith, Arkham's Astrolabe, Maelstrom Colossus, Boarding Party, Annoyed Altasaur, Sojourner's Companion, and... oh, that Expedition map. I don't know why that's already gone. I think he's trying to justify their ban. I didn't read any of this. It is like pages upon pages upon pages upon pages of shit that I don't really care that much about. They killed Tron. Great, cool. Let's move on. I think the more long-term strategic meta-analysis that I gave is better than him just micro saying, oh, well, this little deck, and we tweak this and that. No. Okay, the point is 2 toxic pieces of shit are gone. So if you wanted to jump into a format or jump back into paper, your store reopened, or you're starting to play with friends again, or some people are jumping into the game, some people who play Arena are looking into paper, I would say jump on Pauper now that just these are gone. And remember, any format, casual, anything goes, block constructed, pseudo block constructed, aka used to be legal at one point in its entirety, so past standard, but standard multi-block constructed, if that makes sense. Commander, anything that you police within your own group is going to be fun because you police it within your own group. So just remember that. You can play Magic and have fun. All you have to do is not let wizards interfere with or screw with anything, and you just police it and ban players and ban decks yourself. There you go, done. So if you're like, no, Magic's not fun anymore, you might just not be doing it right, you know? Structured play, tournament play for prizes, online play, no, you ain't going to find that. That's going to be tryhards. You want to have fun? Play whatever the hell you want and do it yourself. My favorite is Chaos Cube. And it's not what they've defined as it. It's Super Pauper Chaos Cube, where you take 500 commons from at least 10 different sets, shuffle them together into 500 cards, and then draft from it. Or split it into, I think it's 120, 120, 120, 120, and then with a couple spare overflow. And then say, here's your brick, your brick, your brick, your brick, 4 people. Boom, constructed. So it's like a sealed tournament, but with a slightly bigger pool. That is, I'd say, besides Plane Chase, which you can play Plane Chase on top of it, so, you know, it's those are 2 different things, the funnest time I've ever had playing Magic ever. It's skill-heavy, low-powered, unpredictable chaos that is just an absolute freaking riot, and I had more fun playing Chaos Cube and Chaos Draft and Chaos Pseudo-Sealed than I did playing the last unset. Just think about that. Pretty sad. So, yeah, I mean, there's still enjoyability. They haven't run the game completely into the ground yet, but they are within the realm of, in the next 3 years, completely destroying the game. Like, to the point where basically nobody plays it anymore. So, hopefully they turn that around. I mean, we got a new CEO coming in. Who knows? We got the Pauper People panel. If they're willing to do that and expand that idea further, that would be a desperate, you know, humble way to finally just get the shit solved that they can't do themselves. I hope Gavin pushes for that. That would be nice. We'll see. Should be a crazy 2022. I'll see you guys next time.